Hi children of class 10. Today I Ashish, your economics teacher, is going to teach you chapter 2, that is sectors of the Indian economy. And please open page number 19 of your book. As you can see in the book, there are 5 pictures provided, and every picture people are engaged in some activity and they get money paid against these activities. So, this activities comes under the definition of economic activities. Whenever we do any activity and against that if we get some money paid in return, that's it becomes an economic activity. And now come back to the chapter name, that is sectors of the Indian economy. Indian economy basically comprises of 3 sectors. First one is primary sector, second one is secondary sector, third one is tertiary sector. And in this primary sector basically deals with whenever some activities which are directly connected with or done with by using natural resources becomes part of primary sector. For example, farming and fruits we get from trees and plants. And now come to secondary sector. Basically, in secondary sector we get, as the name itself says, secondary sector. In secondary sector we get resources from primary sector. For example, iron we get from iron ore, and we even from common when we have window grills or doors made of iron. Basically we get resources from primary sector, and then with human skills and tools we convert that, we use that material, we use that resources and convert it into like this. So that becomes part of secondary sector. For example, factories, railway tracks. So secondary sector is even called industrial sector. Now come to third sector, that is called tertiary sector. Tertiary sector deals basically with service. In tertiary sector, people doesn't produce any goods. Basically they provide service. For example, doctors, lawyers, teachers, they with their skills and competence they provide or render service. Basically primary sector and secondary sector deal we produce goods, but in case of tertiary sector we doesn't produce goods, we only render service. This is the basic difference between tertiary sector and primary and secondary sector. Now come to this, that is page number 22, how to compare the 3 sectors. Surely, as in all the sectors we are doing economic activity, and ultimately how do we count the various goods and services and know the total production in each sector. For example, if we go and take a cup of tea, we pay for the tea, we pay price for the cup of tea, we don't pay price for the amount of sugar that has been added into that, we don't pay for the amount of tea leaves that has been added over there, or even the amount of fuel that has been spent on making that tea. Basically we just pay the price of that a cup of tea. Basically by that example what I am trying to say is, it is that final goods and services, the final goods and services are basically counted in terms of money, and then for that which we pay price, not for the intermediate goods involved into that. And now this all now I hope you understood that all 3 sectors basically produce goods and services, and all those activities as they are economic activities, so surely that all of them can be measured in terms of money. Now come to the concept of GDP. GDP stands for gross domestic product, and the value of final goods and services produced in each sector during a particular year provides the total production of the sector for that year, which is called GDP of a country. For example, in case of India, all the goods and services produced in our country in a year in all those 3 sectors, and that has been measured in terms of money, makes the GDP of India. Okay, children, for today only this much. Now come to recapitulation. Recapitulation means basically we have understood 3 points. If I summarize that, first one, economic activities are categorized into, yeah, every country. Indian economy has three sectors. One is primary sector, secondary sector, and third tertiary sector. And in two sectors, and all these three sectors do some involve some activity which can be measured in terms of money, and when we add all of that activities in terms of money in a year, then it becomes the GDP of that country. Okay students, for today only this much. Thank you.